Hello. So I'm back now. Hopefully you've listened to my Snail and Whales story that I read by Julia Donaldson. It's her book. I read that yesterday and I put it onto my YouTube channel, so feel free to watch that first so you know the story. Today's activity that I'm going to do for the video is to show you what I usually do in my childcare setting as a childminder. We read loads and loads of stories in my house. They're so valuable for children's learning. We've got a huge book selection, so we just read and read and read, and the children get so much from it. They get concentration, they learn to listen and understand. They also learn lots and lots of new words, and there's so much you can gain from reading to children. So it's something that we do a lot of here. But we also get a story and we bring it alive. We've previously bought other stories alive. We bought The Stick Man alive, Jack and the Beanstalk. We've planted our own beans and watched them grow. The Gruffalo. Oh, so many stories, I can't even mention them all. But this is the one that we're doing today, The Snail and the Whale. This is for younger children. I have children from 6 months in my setting, and my eldest son's 11 years old. And these are activities that they could probably all enjoy as long as you adapt it according to their age. The activities that I'm going to be sharing with you today are some that I've done with my son, because I'm closed at the moment for the coronavirus lockdown. So we are going to dress up as fire people, and he is going to help the whale that gets beached on the bay, that's stranded. And I've got a chalkboard and I've drawn a picture of a whale, and then I put yellow underneath so it looks like the sand, and he's going to get the hose and try and put it out, so that's really good fun. We also draw our own whales. And that's really important because children do amazing drawing when they're young and they don't even realise that they're drawing. This is the first stage of learning when they start to make marks. It's called mark making for childcare professionals. But what it really is children getting something, anything at all. It could be a stone, it could be a pen, it could be a pencil, it could be a stick. It could just be some sand on a surface and they're using their finger. But they're doing something that makes a mark. Something that actually leaves something somewhere, a pattern that they have done. And the first stage of learning for children when they're really young is to actually realise, wow, the movement I'm making with my hand is actually making something on the paper, on the surface, whatever it may be. So that's really, really good. So that's something we really encourage from a tiny age for children, just to start realising that their movement can actually make a mark on something, mark making. The next stage from that is to then encourage them to have a purpose to their mark making. So we either get them to draw big circles or just draw something, and then we look at it afterwards and we say, wow, that looks just like, or what do you think you've drawn? That's the colour of. And it's just so much that you can take away from that. So that's what we're doing. We're going to try and draw a whale and a snail. Or the mummies and daddies going to draw a whale and a snail, and the children are going to colour it, and they might colour it with their hands whole, or they might colour it in the pincher action, which is the next stage to actually learning how to write, which is amazing. We're then going to make them into whales and snails and we're going to stick them onto items. And then we are going to do an activity where we actually bring the book alive with our toys, with a water table. We're going to put the whales and the snails that we made into the water, and the story's going to come alive with the toys. And I'm going to read parts of the story, and then my son is going to use some of the toys and some of the stuff we've made and some stuff that he's going to make. He's going to get a straw and blow into the water and make his own waves and bubbles. So that's amazing as well for so many different skills. And we're also going to go on a snail hunt, and we're hopefully going to find a snail and we're going to see them in real life. It's really interesting for children to actually get up close and personal with these animals, and insects and whatever else are in the stories as well. So if you can find a snail, just observe the snails, watch them looking all shy, seeing how they feel in their shell, and then watching them come out of the shell. This story will cover all of the areas of learning in the early years foundation stages. And it's just a fun way for the children to cover it all. It's also quite fun for adults because it gives you a focus, it gives you something to base it around and a little guide, a bit like this story here. So this is just a few ideas. When you read through the story, you might see things that are more unique to your child. I always go with the children's interests. So other ideas from this story, there is a school in there. You could maybe set up your own school. You could maybe make your own snails and have a family of snails. Or there's lots of different combinations of things like writing on chalkboards, a bit how the snail wrote Lift Wanted around the world, so some other ideas. But this is an introduction to this book and all the activities I'd usually do in my house. As I previously said on another video I've done, I'm not a professional YouTuber, I'm a childminder and a mummy. So this video really is me interacting with the children. All I want it to do is just give you ideas of fun things you can do with your children at home to expand their learning. But it's very rough around the edges. People always joke saying don't ever work with animals or children. I work with both. I love them both, but I also love the fact that nothing ever quite goes to plan and there's always varieties. But when we go on a curveball, when something different happens, when I actually intended for maybe for the whales to go across the water and they end up sinking or they end up falling apart, that's also learning. So embrace that and don't worry if it all falls apart, like it will do for me as well, I'm sure. It happens to me an awful lot and it's how we deal with it and what we take from it. I hope you enjoy. Good evening. Now it's time to do some crafts. And this evening it's all about the snail and the whale. Because we read the story earlier on today. And if you need to find it, it's on the YouTube channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all look through the story for some clues. And we're going to make our own whale with a snail on the tail. And we're going to try and set them off to sea tomorrow and use our imagination. So I've looked through the book and I put this paper in to show me where to go. So first of all, look at these snails. What colour are the snails? Shall we try and find some colours in our pot that are the same colour as the snail? Oh, that looks like a good colour. Shall we see? Is it close colour? Yeah, looks like nearly the same. And maybe another colour. Oh, maybe these two colours here could make a good snail. What colours are those? Can you tell me? I think that one's orange and that one's yellow. I think that's quite good for the snail. So let's remember that and have a go at a snail. So let's try and draw a snail. Now we're not going to draw it like this. We're going to draw it from a different way. The way I like drawing it is by doing big swirly whirly circles. So if we put our pens down, I'm doing the orange one first, and then I want you to go round and round and round like when we get dizzy. Can you do that? You might hold the pen like this and do this. But you know what? That's still a snail. Let's have a go at doing some more. Ready, steady, go. Wow, I'm doing lots of snails, or you might hold it in the pincher grip and do it like this. So when you've done the snail's shell, then you've just got to add a head and a tail, and then add some eyes and a smile. Look at that! You could do it too. Look, dot dot for the eyes. You could do that too. How about this one here? Let's draw a head and a tail. Look at these. This is a happy one. And let's draw someone with yellow. Let's use the yellow pen now like the other one. There we go. Look at all these snails on my paper. And another one. Lots and lots of snails. Or could you ask Mummy and Daddy to help you draw the snail? They might help you hold the pencil and draw round and round. And then close off the shell and just draw a head and a tail. Right, so we have nailed the snails. Look at that. So next, let's have a look at the whales. Now, this is the poor whale when it got stuck on the beach. Look how big it is. Look at its tail. Look at its body. And it gets wider. And it's very long. Look at that. And that's its mouth all the way along there. And at the end there, it's all bumpy at the end of its nose. And its eyes are quite far back, aren't they? Wowee. It's a big, 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 big. And then there's another clue here. And it tells me, actually in the writing, that it's a grey-blue humpback whale. Which makes me want to have a look. And this time I'm not going to do pens. Look at this. I've got a crayon. Now that looks quite a good colour for the whale, don't you think? I wonder if there's a grey in here anywhere. Can you see grey? Give me a shout when you can. Yes, I found one. Found one. Right, so we've got blue and we've got grey. Let's see if we can draw a whale now on our paper. So let's remember what they look like. So they've got long bodies. Very, very long bodies. Do you think you've got long enough paper? And then they've got the tail that comes up like this. Yeah. And then it comes out like this. There we go. And we don't want to forget the bumpy bits at the end of the nose, do we? And then where's its big mouth? Whee! This is a happy whale. I would be happy too if I could travel the world in the sea. Look at that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to squirt out water out the back of the whale. Oh, is it looking like a whale from the story? Not far off, but I think it needs now is a bit of colour. So let's colour it in. I wish I had my colouring helpers here. I hope you're doing lots of colouring at home. There we go. Look at the whale. Look at the whale. Wowee. So now what we need to do is either get some scissors that are suitable for children or ask your mummies and daddies for some help, and we're going to cut out the whale and we're going to put a little snail on the end of their tail and we're going to make them into boats for tomorrow so that they float on the water like the snail and the whale. So here are my whales that I've just done, and I've stuck them onto the pots that we've been saving, and hopefully they'll float tomorrow on the water. Look at these whales, they're all different shapes and sizes, just like everybody on the earth. Everybody's different, just like these whales. But they've all got a snail on their tail, so they can all go on adventures. Can you count how many whales we've got? Let me come right out. How many whales have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 whales. Are they like the picture? Do you think I've got it right? It doesn't matter if not, because you can always use your imagination. Whatever you manage to make will be amazing tomorrow, because we just use our imagination. If they don't quite look the same, we imagine they're the same. And we can still have great adventures on the water. So what you do is you cut them out, stick them onto the pot and get ready for some fun tomorrow, and get a big pot of water so you can play along with me. See you tomorrow. Bye. So another fun activity that we have planned for this story is when the poor whale gets stuck on the beach. And because it's not on water, it can't move. And that's called beached on the bay. Here we go. Beached in a bay. So this is an emergency. And what happens is the snail goes off to the school. It writes a message on the board that says, save the whale. And we're imagining we've had a message on our board to say, save the whale. And we fetched some firemen, and luckily we've got an awesome fireman that's grown so tall he's nearly grown out of his fireman's outfit here. But, Ethan, outside there's a whale that needs saving. Can we save it?
Yeah.
Let's go. Run for your life. Right, it's over here, the whale. The whale's over here. Can the fireman? Oh, look at the poor whale. Can the fireman get the hose started? Go for it, fireman. Can you save the whale? Are you going to wash the whale away back to sea off the board? Ethan, can you wash it off the backboard? There we go. Look, you're getting the whale back to sea, keeping it wet, looking after it. Oh, Mindy's having a drink as well. He's not just saving a whale, he's saving his pet dog. It's amazing. Keep going until it's all disappeared and the whale's back at sea.
It's splashing.
It's splashing. We're getting a bit wet, but the whale's nearly back at sea. It's nearly safe.
Ethan, just 1 second. Done.
Well done. The whale's back at sea. Well done. Fireman Ethan, give us a high five without getting me wet. Right, another fun activity we like doing is reading the story and then making it come alive and turning it into a game. So it's actually real life. So we found some toys, we made some whales, and we filled up our water table with water. And I managed to get an extremely good helper that's very, very good at having imagination and making games come alive. That's going to help me. So I'm going to read the story and you're going to make it come alive. So let's find the whale. Can you show us the whales first of all? This is the whale who came one night. Oh, is that a whale? Hold it still so we can see it. Oh, amazing. And how about the ones we made as well? And these ones, can you show us these ones here? Because these are the ones we're going to put into the water. So this is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback male immensely long who sang to the sail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral caves, shooting stars in enormous waves. Now this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held it out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me. Come sail with me, all these snails. Shall we sail them then? How do we sail it? Should we put them in the water?"
Yeah. I'm scared. Wow!
Yeah.
The big guns.
Here we go. We'll turn it this way so I can see the lovely pictures on them. There we go. Snails and whales in our water. Oh, amazing.
Should I blow
You can,
in it?
if you want to. What do you think that will do?
More bubbles.
You want to make more bubbles? Whee! Well done, Ethan. I'm going to carry on reading whilst you're doing that.
Big bubble.
This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far off lands. Can you find anything from this page, Ethan, that might work? Have we got any toys from this page?
Yep.
Which ones have we got?
So, penguin.
Oh,
Wait, where's seal? No, this is not there though.
polar bear. It's not in the picture, is it? But it could still be in the same thing. Shall we put them here so that they can visit them?
The wheel died and it's there.
Oh dear, the whale fell down. Here we go. So this is them. And the whale's still going. Is the snail still on their tail?
This is them making the noise.
Amazing.
I'm still going to do it.
Okay, the next page is fiery mountains and golden sands. Have we got anything from the fiery mountains and golden sands page?
No.
I think we've got
Yeah.
Yes, we have, haven't we?
A monkey by the tree and a koala.
Should we put them on
Staring
so
at
it looks like they're going past them all the whales?
Wee! Ooh.
Oh no! Koala fell in.
Wee! Ooh.
Oh no, we've got a swimming monkey as well.
Ew.
Oh, so this is really important actually, because you do need to blow now. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale.
I've done big bubbles.
Mindy wants to help too. Oh, are you doing the big waves ready for the whales? Are they going swish, 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 swish,
The sharks are
swish, swish,
trying to
swish,
get
swish?
the shark.
Oh no, and that is the next page, isn't it?
Ah! Wee! Ah! I'm going to fall. Wee!
Wow,
fall
we've got
again.
sharks in there.
I'm going to fall.
These are the caves beneath the waves where stripy fish and feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. Oh my goodness, we've got a real life one here, and that poor whale, oh my goodness, I reckon it must be scared. And the snail, and the real life snail.
It's gone.
This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny, blue and warm. Look at the sunshine today.
This is the wind.
Oh, is this the wind? Woo! Sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning, flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. She gazed at the sky, the sea and the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, I feel so small. Can we see them? It's hard to see them when they're so small. Here's one. Oh, hello.
The sharks are dead.
Hello. It's making more bubbles and more waves. But then came the day the whale lost his way. There were speedboats running a race. Have you got any speedboats, Ethan? Have we got any boats?
We're making it too.
Oh no, not shaking. Have we got a speedboat? Do you want to use that speedboat? Go and then make them lose their way. Oh my goodness. Wow. So they're losing their way.
Bubbles are coming out.
And this is when they get stuck on the shore, Ethan. Can they get stuck on the shore? Have we got a whale that gets stuck on the shore? Oh no, this poor whale's got stuck on the shore. So what happens then?
I blew it off.
It's too big to move. It can't get off. So what do you need to do?
I'm nearly getting it off.
The snail goes to save the whale. But you're a fireman, so you might be able to keep it wet. How are we going to keep the whale wet?
Please can I get those?
We're not going to get the hose, Angel, not just yet. But how about we scoop some water onto it?
Okay. Can I use those?
Use whatever you like.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm just going to find something.
He's going to find something to keep the whale wet, just like the real firemen in the book. They've gone to fetch the firemen. The children are too.
A bowl. Look. A bowl.
You've got a bowl. We've got some children here to help as well. Let's get the children to help. Wowee. Come on, firemen. Keep the whale wet. Yes. Amazing. Well done. Just like he's doing in the story. And then the tide comes in and the whale manages to go back out to sea. Whee! There we go. And they all go out to sea together, all the snails on the tail of the whale.
The
What
children's
a wonderful thing.
sinking.
That we've also got firemen. Can the firemen help?
Child's sinking.
Da-da-da.
Look at it.
Oh no, the child's sinking. What are we going to do now?
Into the bowl.
Oh no. And have we still got any whales left on these things? Yes, kind of. There's still a happy whale.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to break.
That is a wonderful
This one's
story.
really dead. Look. She
Oh
can't
dear,
see.
it doesn't matter, darling. We had fun, didn't we?
But look,
Oh,
without it hard.
that's amazing. So look, we could use any of these toys in there.
Snail.
Who's this? This is from, what's this from? Octonauts.
No, it's broken.
Oh no, it doesn't matter.
Whoa. Whoa.
So much fun.
Maybe you could go in there. It's a cave.
Right, so another activity is with Play-Doh. Now we used this last week for our Play-Doh disco, and all it's made out of is corn flour and hair conditioner and some food colouring. So this is sort of like a yellowy colour, and it feels really amazing. It's not quite like Play-Doh, but it has the right effect, doesn't it? Look, I've got the Play-Doh out, Ethan. Are you coming to build with me? So I was just thinking of different activities that we're going to do. You love this one, do you?
I love that.
Here we go. So we can
It's
see
my
in as well. So
favourite.
here's some different things that we can do that relate to the story. We could try and make a whale, and we can try and make a snail, but that's very difficult. So if you manage that, that would be amazing. Are you going to try?
I need big bits.
But what I was also thinking that's also fun, not just playing with it, which is what we love to do all day. How about we do something that's extremely
Make a
long,
whale.
like a whale? See how long we can do it. Can we do it in a long line? You're making a whale?
Yep.
So what I was thinking of doing is a very, very long line.
Oh my.
So who can make
Do
the
you need more?
longest?
Do you need more?
Yeah, let's see how long we can make it. So that's a long line. Ooh. Oh, do you know what that actually looks like? Look at it in the camera, Ethan. What do you think it looks like?
A whale?
It almost looks like a dragon or something. Could be a whale.
Could be a snake.
But then just imagine on the end of this, a tiny, tiny, tiny snail. Can you make something tiny which is pinching between your fingers and putting it on there? Look, there's a tiny, tiny little thing on the back of the long thing. So we're talking about size. We're talking about being on top. Can I put it in front? What's in front of it now? The tiny little things on top, in front. Shall we put it behind? Behind. Shall we put it under? Oh no, we're going to squish. Oh, underneath. So lots of chat about positions when we're playing with the Play-Doh. And when the whale goes under the water to where the sharks is, they're going underneath. And then usually they're on top of the water. So it's all about positions. So let's play around with that. Let's see what else that we can do. Let me see if I can try and make a nice whale. Has to have a lot of squidging this. So this could be the whale's body. Let's see if we can make a whale's tail. Now let's try and do that by squishing it in our hands. Then we flatten it out to make the tail.
I've made a whale. Look.
Have we? Is that like the back of the whale where it
Wait.
breathes out the water? Okay, so we've got almost like a whale's tail.
Okay, should this go at the back?
Could do, that would be amazing. And a tiny, tiny. So let's do big and small. Look at that, wow.
That's its tail.
There we go. And then another really good activity for children is passing it from one hand to the next. So let's get it going. Can you pass it from one hand to the other hand? Passing.
It's sticking.
And we do
Oh.
prodding. We push our fingers into it. And we do pinching.
It's sticking on me.
Is it? I think it's because you've got wet hands. So there's lots of things we can do with Play-Doh, and lots of children love this. If you've got a little plate or something, they love just breaking it up into tiny little pieces, which is amazing. Yeah, we don't talk about names though, do we? Here we go. So lots and lots of tiny little pieces. Did any of you break it into lots of pieces? Maybe. And then there are also some children that like just to chuck it on the floor. But rather than doing that, why don't we make a nice circle. Can we make a circle? And can we try and drop? So here's a circle. So rather than dropping it on the floor, let's drop it into the circle. There you go. It goes inside of something. Yum, yum, yum. It's best to keep it on the table, isn't it? Because when it goes on the floor, if it gets dirty, you might have to chuck it in the bin, which would be a waste. There we go. And we collect it all together at the end and make sure we leave the house nice and tidy. So we always help with the tidying. There we go. Wow. Hello. So I did a video earlier about how we'd found a snail and it looked like it wasn't very well, so we put it on a lettuce and Ethan's just told me something amazing. Ethan?
Look, the snail's survived on the lettuce.
Oh, it's come back to life on the lettuce. Let's have a look.
See?
Oh my goodness me.
It's eating.
That's so good that it's come back to life again. I think it must have been really thirsty and really, really hungry. And I think it might be looking at you right now saying thank you, Ethan. Should we watch the snail for a little while?
Oops.
Is it a big snail or a little one?
It looked like it's a little one.
Can you put your thumb down a tiny bit so we can see it? Good boy. It is a little one, isn't it?
It's going to come off.
Oh,
No.
tipped over. Didn't like that because its feelers went away, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the best place to find snails, Ethan? Where do we find them?
It's near the lettuce.
Near the lettuce, but where would we find them in the garden?
At the bottom of the whale's tail.
Oh, really? Let's have a look then. Show us the whale. Can you put it near the tail? So this is a humpback whale toy that we happen to have. It's very similar to the one in the picture. And is this snail wanting a lift at all? Is it going to leave us a little message saying lift wanted around the world?
Yep, it looked like.
And you must be very careful with it though, hey? So we don't damage it.
Do you still want
Can we try and put it on the tail of the whale? That would be quite amazing, wouldn't it?
I just need to pick you up.
Oh, no, it doesn't like it. Let's not upset it because it's only just come back to life.
Oh no, it just hurt.
Amazing. Well done. I hope you enjoyed all the ideas. I just wanted to share this with you. It reminded me when I was reading this story. I went to Boston last year and I was so lucky to go humpback whale spotting. This is actually a photograph I took of a humpback whale that I saw in the sea there. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.